Hi there and welcome to the Daily Arsenal News Show. Let's dive into today's top stories. Alan Shearer believes 24-year-old Arsenal player is now absolutely key for Mikel Arteta this season. Alan Shearer has now been discussing how important one Arsenal player has now become for Mikel Arteta this season. Before the flurry of goals over the last month or so, pundits and fans seemed very concerned with Arteta's lack of firepower. In truth, you couldn't move for talk of Arsenal signing a striker last month, with many left concerned that they didn't, but Arteta seemed confident that he had the solutions internally. He didn't seem as if he was beginning to panic. The Arsenal boss clearly had a plan to make Arsenal more resolute at the back this season, hence why Declan Rice was signed. Perhaps Kai Havertz was also bought in a similar vein, a player who would add firepower and make Arsenal better at defending from the front. And whilst Alan Shearer would probably agree with those sentiments, he was more focused on praising Havertz's attacking play for Arteta at Arsenal this season. Sherer put the German at number 9 position in his team of the week yesterday and said Havertz was now crucial. Sherer, who knows a thing or two about scoring goals in the Premier League, also credited Arsenal for having the best attack in England. He said the following: with a goal and an assist, Havertz become a key part of what is currently the best attack in the Premier League. Of course, it will be interesting to see how Havertz lines up in the Arsenal 11 once all are fit. It seems as if Gabriel Jesus and Thomas Partey are nearing a return, two players who will surely start when fully fit. And with that said, it's clear that Mikel Arteta could have some very positive selection dilemmas on the horizon, but perhaps Shearer doesn't believe that Arteta should be naming an Arsenal attack without Havertz in it right now. Arsenal have just offered a new contract to their £158,000 a week man after it claims Barcelona want him. After Barcelona began to show interest in Arsenal manager Mikel Arteta, the Gunners have offered the Spaniard a brand new contract to extend his stay at the club. The 41-year-old has developed into one of the best managers in the Premier League. He has truly revolutionized Arsenal, and his work has not gone unnoticed. Barcelona want him, but it's unlikely they will get him. Barcelona boss Xavi Hernandez announced last month that he would be stepping down as the manager in the summer. The Spaniard won the league title at the Camp Nou last season, but his side have struggled this time around. He seems to have had enough and will be leaving at the end of the campaign. Barcelona, like Liverpool and Bayern Munich, are now on the hunt for a new manager. Spanish outlet Sport have claimed today that Arsenal boss Mikel Arteta is on their radar. However, the Catalans have been informed that the 41-year-old is never going to force himself out of Arsenal, even if it means to manage Barcelona. The biggest revelation in the report, however, is that Arteta has a new contract offer on his table. Stanley Kroenke and Arsenal's board don't want to lose their main man, who has done a spectacular job since taking over from Unai Emery. The report adds that it would be really strange if Arteta decided against extending his contract, which suggests he will put pen to paper. Mikel Arteta has turned Arsenal into one of the best teams in the world. The Gunners are challenging for the Premier League and Champions League titles this season. They are such a good side and are capable of beating any other team in Europe. Arteta is the biggest reason why Arsenal are where they are right now, which is why it would be stupid of Stan Kroenke and KSE to not hold onto him. The £158,000 a week Spaniard will enter the final year of his contract this summer, but we expect him to extend his deal in the coming months. Arsenal now want to sign fearless defender who's made more tackles than William Saliba and Gabriel. Arsenal are interested in signing Fiorentina defender Michael Coyote this summer. The Gunners are in a good position after turning things around in 2024. The focus now is on the business end of the season, but it looks like plans for the summer are underway as well. Coyote is the latest name to be linked with a move to Arsenal. Arsenal have always had an eye on the best young talents in the world. Mikel Arteta has one of the youngest squads in the Premier League at his disposal, and he has turned them into one of the best sides in Europe. Arsenal's big moves in the summer will be to sign established players who can make a serious difference, but that doesn't mean they won't go anywhere near exciting young talents. Calciomercato claimed this week that the Gunners are interested in the fearless Michael Coyote of Fiorentina. It has been revealed that Edu has repeatedly sent scouts to Italy to see him up close and find out if he is actually good enough to make a move to the Premier League. Coyote, who according to his scored has attempted more tackles 48 this season than William Saliba and Gabriel Magalhaes, both 44, is tied down to a contract until 2028. Fiorentina also have an option to extend that by another year. However, the report claims Coyote will be available to sign for a fee between £12 million and £15 million this summer. Michael Coyote is a very good right back and he has the potential to play for a big club in a few years. Arsenal are unlikely to sign £100 million striker now because he is too inexperienced. Ivan Ferguson has been tipped to be the next big thing in the Premier League. The 19-year-old is a serious prospect, and his exploits at Brighton over the past 18 months have seen him linked to a number of top Premier League clubs. One team that are said to be keen on Ferguson are Arsenal. The Gunners do need a new striker through the door this summer, but speaking on Shots TV, Chris Whitley has suggested that Ferguson won't be the man the Gunners turn to road. Indeed, the journalist says that Arsenal are likely to go for someone with more experience than Ferguson, despite the fact he is one of the most exciting players in the league. Whitley shared what he knows about the teenager. He said, "There are a lot of names that have been mentioned, even the Brighton striker Ivan Ferguson, who has done really well, but I feel that Arsenal will go for someone slightly more experienced who would get those goals. Brighton could demand a record fee for him, 19 years old, but one of the most talented young forwards in the Premier League." Ferguson looks to be a top prospect, but he is too unproven and too expensive for a team like Arsenal to take a punt on him right now. Ferguson has been valued at £100 million recently, and that's way too much for a player who isn't even getting into the Brighton side every week at the moment. The Irishman is destined to play for a top club eventually, but he needs to get a few more seasons under his belt before a team like Arsenal look to spend huge money on him. Arsenal told to sign £60 million Premier League player who could take Gabriel Martinelli's spot. Arsenal have been told to sign Wolverhampton Wanderers winger Pedro Neto to compete with Gabriel Martinelli for a spot in their side. Mikel Arteta currently lacks real depth out wide, and Arsenal have been long linked with bringing in another top quality option in the position. Indeed, the Gunners have missed out on the likes of Mykhailo Mudryk and Rafinha in the past, who were viewed as likely competition for both Gabriel Martinelli and Bukayo Saka. Arsenal has been reportedly touted as a possible destination for Pedro Neto, with reports claiming they are preparing a £60 million bid for the winger this summer. Now, Janusz Michalik has explained why he believes Neto would be a good option for Arteta's side. Speaking on ESPN FC, he claimed that Arsenal could do with another option out wide to compete with Martinelli and Saka. He said the following: "I look at players in the wide areas to maybe challenge Martinelli and even Saka. I look at Pedro Neto. I like him for Liverpool as well. I do know he is injury prone, but he is an incredible player, and who is to say he is always going to be injured? Maybe he is the one. Maybe Mitoma, another player that would fit Arsenal very, very well. Neto has excelled under Gary O'Neill this term, registering 11 assists and 3 goals in all competitions. As a player who can operate off both sides, he seems like the ideal forward target for Arsenal. Of course, there are concerns over his injury record, but with Saka and Martinelli at the club, Arteta would be able to manage the Portuguese star's minutes. The 23-year-old is undoubtedly an incredible talent, and his direct style would make him an ideal alternative to Martinelli. 23-year-old's dream Arsenal move may still be possible, with Mikel Arteta convinced of his talent. Very few of us could quite believe what we were seeing when it became apparent that Arsenal did indeed want to spend £65 million on Kai Havertz in the most recent summer transfer window. Kai Havertz has long been considered an exceptional talent, and of course, he has scored a winner in a Champions League final. However, he only scored 32 goals in 139 games for Chelsea. It was incredibly hard to see what Mikel Arteta saw in the German to convince Arsenal to make him one of their most expensive signings of all time. However, Havertz is now silencing many of his doubters with his form for the Gunners. Obviously, the January transfer window showed that Arsenal are having to be careful in what they spend after investing in the current squad, but the deal for Havertz shows that the Gunners are prepared to look beyond current form when they have targets in mind. And that should perhaps be music to the ears of Mikhailo Modric amid claims from The Athletic that the Ukraine was devastated to miss out on a move to the Emirates in 2023. Modric joined Chelsea for £86 million last January. Arsenal were prepared to make an offer which could have reached the same amount. However, Shakhtar Donetsk felt that some of the add-ons were less realistic. The report notes that Mikel Arteta and Edu were convinced about Modric's ability, and despite his struggles at Chelsea, he continues to have admirers at Arsenal. They reportedly think that his full potential can be unlocked in the future. As things stand, it's hard to see that happening at Chelsea, and given how much they have spent in recent years, you would not be entirely surprised if they listen to any serious offers for their players in the next few years. Given that Arsenal were able to look past how Havertz was playing for Chelsea when they made their move, perhaps there is an outside chance that they could look to do similar with Modric in the future. They certainly need someone to give them more depth out wide, and Modric could be the one. €70 million Arsenal target opts to sign a new contract with European giants. Arsenal will be in the market for a new striker this summer, and one of their targets looks set to sign a new deal with his current club. Mikel Arteta has been a long-term admirer of Juventus' Dusan Vlahovic, and the Spanish coach tried to sign the player in 2022 when the Serbian was at Fiorentina. However, the striker decided to stay in Italy and join European giants Juventus as part of an initial €70 million deal. The Gunners have been linked to Vlahovic ever since, but according to La Gazzetta dello Sport, the 24-year-old is set to extend his contract with Juventus until 2028, which will see him earn €12 million annually. Vlahovic would have been a great option for Arsenal, given his age and the fact that he is a goal-scoring machine. The Serbia international has netted 15 times this season across 23 Serie A matches, but the Gunners have alternatives. Brentford's Ivan Toney has been linked to the North London club since the summer, while Aston Villa's Ollie Watkins is another name being thrown around. Both players are not as young as Vlahovic, but the Premier League duo do bag plenty of goals themselves. The Englishmen are also proven in the English top flight, which would be a bonus should one of them secure a move to Arsenal this summer. Owen Hargreaves claims Aston Villa man is better than Declan Rice defensively. Former Manchester United and England midfielder Owen Hargreaves has heaped praise on the form of Aston Villa star Douglas Luiz as he continues to shine in the Premier League and attract interest from Arsenal. In fact, Hargreaves even went as far as to say that he thinks Luiz is currently doing better defensive work in midfield than Arsenal's Declan Rice, who joined for over £100 million from West Ham in the summer. One imagines plenty of Gunners fans would love to see Luiz coming in to partner Rice in the future, but it remains to be seen if Villa will let the Brazilian go for anything like a reasonable price. Still, it's clear Luiz is now in that top tier of midfield players, with Hargreaves comparing him to the likes of Rice and Manchester City star Rodri. He said, Douglas Luiz has put himself into a category now after Rodri and along with Declan Rice as the elite defensive midfield players in the Premier League. Bruno Guimaraes is another one of those, but Douglas Luiz is better defensively, and that's why I think he is very unique. Big claims by the pundit. Let us know your thoughts on how Luiz measures up against the likes of Rice. As we wrap up today's Arsenal news, remember to stay tuned for daily updates right here on the channel. Don't miss out on the latest updates, so make sure to hit that subscribe button and give us a like if you found this information valuable. Your support means the world to us. Thanks for watching, and until next time, take care.